We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another live Vikings Uncensored. It is Saturday night, Combine Week. We have got a ton of shit going on. A lot of players out strutting their stuff in the Underwear Olympics in Indianapolis.
Underwear Olympics, nice.
So we'll talk a little bit about that. We got a lot of rumors and stuff. Of course, the Combine is where a lot of the trade rumors and free agency unofficial tampering starts, and so we got a lot of that. And then, of course, we'll talk about, of course, the 1,000-pound elephant in the room, the quarterback situation later on the show here too. But good evening to everybody in the chat. Ryan is there, Davey, Ant, Dan Hanneman, Drew, Doc is in there tonight. Toons is in the house tonight. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And with that, let's kick it off here. Couple of news items we'll start with. The NFLPA came out with their yearly report cards again this week, which, of course, the NFL apparently has voted to not release anymore because apparently it made some of the billionaire owners look bad. But
shit.
Your Minnesota Vikings came in for the second year in a row at number 2 on the list of best run franchises from the NFLPA.
I think the year prior to that we were number 1, weren't we?
We were number 1 3 years ago, and then we've been number 2 for the last 2. Surprisingly, Miami has been the number 1 team in the last 2 years.
What?
Yeah, which is
that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, I don't know, but maybe it has something to do with playing in South Florida and all that stuff. I don't know.
That's the only thing I could think of that would make a little bit of sense. But
yeah, but they were again ranked number 2, best organization. I think they had like 2 or 3 grade levels that ended up in the B's. Everything else were A or A plus. So the team is doing something right in the eyes of players across the league, at least. So
it's a great fucking question there, Davey.
Yeah. Shit ass luck and we're cursed or whatever the hell it is. I don't know, but best run non-Super Bowl winning team. Yeah, Ant, you're right. You're, of course, yeah, you're right on that, I guess. But yeah. It's Combine Week, so a lot of the stuff we got going on is coming out of the Scouting Combine this week. A couple of other items. Here's a surprising one. The Vikings have been having multiple discussions about trades for Javon Hargrave.
Really?
This is a guy we thought we were probably just going to have to cut.
Right, that's what we were talking about last week, yeah.
So if you can work out even a 6th or a 7th round pick for this
that's
guy,
a win. Absolutely.
It's absolutely a win. One team that I saw yesterday that has been rumored to be interested is the Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego. So, yeah, I mean, if we could work out, you said, you get anything more than a bag of footballs for him, and which if they're a team trades for him, they take on some of that cap hit as well. So that would be a so well run. We fired our GM. Well,
Right.
right, but that means we're well run because we got rid of the guy who couldn't run a
I
one-man
agree.
band. But
Both of us, you guys, and Dan, trade both of them.
well, we talked about earlier about in the off season about the fact that Jonathan Allen was going to be very hard to get out from under.
Wow.
A fourth for hard. I would love that, Drew. We don't have a fourth rounder because apparently we gave that up for Adam Thielen and his 5 catches.
If you could fucking scramble
if you
together,
can get a fourth round pick for Javon Hargrave, you take it and you run before whoever offered you that fourth sobers up. I'll put it that way. But yeah, the Jonathan Allen thing, we've talked about how his contract is kind of hard to get out from under. There's been a lot of talk this week that don't be surprised if Jonathan Allen is not on this team when the new league year starts here as well.
I like these young guys we got at the position, though, to be honest with you.
Well, the Vikings were one of the oldest teams in the league last year, and it didn't work for them. It really didn't.
We needed to go with a youth movement for sure. It's been a while since we've had a younger roster.
And we'll talk about this and some of the guys in a little bit here, but this is a pretty good draft for defensive line talent, especially the interior guys. So, if you can offload at least one of the two of them for a draft pick, if not both of them, and then move in and go get somebody, one of these young guys or somebody else coming off of a contract. I mean, we're not going to have a lot of money to spend in free agency. And Rob Brzezinski, of course, acting general manager, cap wizard, and whatever else, has said in a discussion with, I think it was Tatum Everett from Vikings Entertainment Network this week, that don't be surprised if you see there's a lot of roster decisions that are going to be pretty easy to make, and don't be surprised to see the Vikings eat a lot of this problem this year. So it's not going to be, restructuring a ton of guys and kicking money down the road, but they're going to try to right size the shit that Kwesi left them, and get out from it this year and kind of straighten things out for years to come, which I'm okay with. I've never been a fan of this kick shit down the road. We're going to have to do some because we're $42 million over the cap currently, but with the top safeties, cornerbacks gone by 18, that's an interesting point, Davey. We'll talk about those guys in a minute because I got to have a few things on that we've been looking at, but have some good 3-tech talent. Need a nose tackle.
Nose tackle's been a need for about 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, and there are some really good nose tackles in this class. So, and guys that are, nose tackle has been one of those positions.
Nose tackle's been a need since Linville Joseph left.
Right. But there's, nose tackle's been kind of a position that's been a little bit devalued, kind of like the running back position has been for a while. You're looking for, they've been looking for all these, a little bit lighter, faster guys up in the middle. But now as the offenses start to turn back more towards running games a little bit, that big, nasty guy in the middle is going to be more important against the defenses. You're going to have to adjust. So,
I really like what I've seen out of Redmond, especially, but I also like what I've seen this last year out of Ingram Dawkins.
Yeah, now
I believe he gets more snaps next season as well.
I mean, Redmond will be one of the starters. He's a 5-tech starter. He's not a nose tackle. He should not be a nose tackle.
Right, but interior wise,
right.
Yes.
But there's also, and we keep forgetting that I can't even think of his name right now, but the kid they've signed from the CFL in the offseason here, who they're really high on.
Let's not forget about Elijah Williams either. That's a sneaky name to remember as
Yeah.
well.
But there are a lot of nose tackles. And like I said, ever since we switched to a 3-4, I have been pounding the table for a big, nasty nose tackle in the middle, which we've never had. You know,
Yeah, in
like
the
you
3-4,
said,
right? Yeah.
we haven't had a big, nasty guy like that. Well, we did, we had Pat Williams, and then we had,
Well, then
what's his
you're
name from the
Linval
Ravens?
Joseph.
Linval Joseph, and then we had what's his name from the Ravens there for a year or two.
He wasn't nothing. Pierce.
Yeah, Antonio. Yeah, not Antonio Pierce, but yeah, Pierce was okay, but yeah.
There was a
So
guy before Linval too that we had. I can't remember off the top of my head who it was, but there was a guy before Joseph that we had too there for a minute that was pretty damn good.
yeah. But anyway, at scouting combine stuff. One of the interesting things that came out. Neither Kevin O'Connell nor Rob Brzezinski spoke to the media at the combine, which is kind of a departure from previous years. Take as it what it is. Myself personally, and this is just my opinion, but I don't think they wanted to answer the quarterback position for one.
You got to have a good nose
Yeah.
tackle with 3-4.
It absolutely. And
Another great name at nose tackle that we ended up
Jerry,
stealing from the Lions.
Jerry Ball. Yeah, I loved me some Jerry Ball back in the day.
Yes.
But yeah, I think the big reason, because Kevin O'Connell typically loves to stand in front of a microphone and listen to himself talk. But that the whole not wanting to answer the thing about the quarterback stuff.
There you go. That was the
Tom
name I was
Johnson.
looking for.
There you go,
right.
Riley. Yep.
That was the name I was looking for. Yep. Tom Johnson.
What did they call him on K-Fan? It was Sebastian Thunderbucket. Because Tom Johnson was too bland of a name, so they called him Sebastian Thunderbucket. Otherwise, there has been significant discussions that, and Brzezinski kind of alluded to this, like I said, when he was talking to Tatum Everett, but that there will be significant cuts by the Vikings, maybe a lot more cuts than we thought of, and maybe Jonathan Allen being one of those. But one player that we kind of figured would possibly be part of that doesn't sound like it's going to be is TJ Hawkinson.
I was on TJ Hawkinson's high horse last week. Like I said, those final 5 games looked more like the TJ Hawkinson that we've known than not so much.
Yeah, but there are a lot of the beat writers have been saying that the Vikings want to keep TJ Hawkinson around. Now, of course, he's not going to be able to be kept around at his current salary, which is, I think the cap hit this year as it sits right now is $21.3 million. So
another good name there, Josh, for sure.
Yeah. He was a decent player, but wasn't the disruptive force in the middle that some of these rookies that are coming out might be. Yeah, and I don't see any way that they let Hawkinson play on that contract this year.
I gave my opinion last week on Hawkinson and where I'm sitting right now with him, but I wouldn't mind bringing him back on a restructured deal, like Rhino and Ant just stated. I thought he ended the season very well last season.
To be honest with you, Drew, prior to the injury, yes, I liked Hawk a lot. I bought his fucking jersey. I liked him, but he just has not been the same player after that injury. So
I'm gonna have to disagree with this. Continue. I'll hit this when you're done here.
All right, but he just has not been the player. And I know some of this stuff is, he was asked to block more and this other. He wasn't really blocking. He was chipping and going out. So, I still, it's not that I don't like Hawkinson, but I don't like Hawkinson at his current cap. He's going to have to redo his deal in order to stick around. And I think the team knows that, and I think Hawkinson's team knows that as
I
well.
think they're on the same page as which is why we're hearing that he's going to be sticking around. I think Hawkinson and the organization are both on the same page, which is exactly like I said, which is exactly why he's probably going to stick around more than likely. With this, I like Josh Oliver right now with where he's at. I think if you elevate him to tight end one, that might be filling his plate a little bit too much. And I don't think we get the same Josh Oliver that we're getting now when his role has expanded more.
Yeah, I love me some Josh Oliver. He's a hell of a player, and he's a very good tight end too. I don't think he's a tight end one.
Right.
And the thing of it is, you look at this stuff. If you did move on from Hawkinson, with the cap situation, who are you going to replace him with? I mean, the top guys out there would be like Isaiah Likely. The Unicorn is getting franchise tagged in Atlanta, so he's not going to be available. I mean, I do like Isaiah Likely a lot, but he's going to get paid somewhere, and you'd be paying him close to what you're probably paying Hawkinson. So if they can work out the deal, lower his cap hit down, again, I'm not a big fan of kicking money down the road, but yeah, Riley, I mean, that's probably a smart thing. The last few jerseys I bought of active play. I mean, I do have a Jefferson, I do have a Harrison Smith, but
I went out and bought a Pace jersey last year, and this is exactly why.
I bought a JJ McCarthy jersey too, so we'll see how that goes. But we'll talk about quarterbacks in a little bit. We won't get into that right at the moment, but yeah. Other than that, sounds like expect to see. Well, we got to have the cap right sized here within the next week, so there's going to be a lot of things coming. Sounds like the Aaron Jones thing is a foregone conclusion. He's probably not going to be back.
Right.
If Harrison Smith does not come back, that's $25 million that comes off the books. So, that'll help out. Ryan Kelly will be ant to your point you got here. That will be a pretty easy decision there. You can't rely on, especially the money that you're paying him. You can't rely on him to be back. He had 3 concussions last year. He is one more concussion away from having to wear a helmet 24/7. And just sometimes you got to protect these guys from themselves, and that's where Ryan Kelly's at right now. There's a tight end that's 6'6", 269, good blocker. I would draft.
Holy shit, 269. That's a lot of beef on the guy for tight end.
There are some. There's some good mid to late round tight ends, which I wouldn't be surprised to see the Vikings take a look there. Provided Hawkinson's back, which it sounds like he is, they're not going to be looking at a Kenyon Sadiq or somebody like that in the beginning. Yep. Get Pat Coogan. We'll roll into that here in just a second, but I do have a hot take on the Rob Brzezinski thing. Everybody's talking about why are the Vikings didn't sign a general manager prior to the draft and all this other stuff. Well, here's a hot take. I've been kind of thinking about this for a while, but they put Rob Brzezinski in charge, I believe, because that guy is in no danger of losing his job with the Vikings. He's going to be the cap guy here until he decides to hang it up. So he's kind of I think they put him in there to be the safety valve kind of guy where, if O'Connell, maybe feeling the heat for his job to perform, if he wants to go trade four picks to go get somebody, Brzezinski's going to be that guy in the room that's like, no, we're not going to go do that. We're going to do what's best for the team long-term, not just short-term.
Speaking of long-term, let's mention it again. Brzezinski's been in the Vikings organization since 1999. Right?
Yeah, 98, 99, right in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said. And the guy has had opportunities to go elsewhere. Teams have wanted to interview him for general manager position, stuff like that, and he's declined. So, like I said, I think that's why. And the Vikings might very well give him an opportunity to be the general manager here if he wants it, but I don't know that he
If he
wants it.
wants it. If he
I don't.
wants
I
it.
don't know that he wants it.
I think you just go with the triangle.
I don't like the fucking triangle. I mean, you run it through here, and then once the draft is done, if Brzezinski wants it, then yeah, you give it to him. If not, then you go find somebody who's going to be, it's probably going to be somebody who's going to want to work with Kevin O'Connell, like McKay or somebody like that. But
I love it, Dan. Yeah.
yeah, and that's the big
We
thing.
need to hit on these draft picks this season.
And that's the thing. You can't go trading away a bunch of draft picks to go move around in this thing. I think there's going to be a lot of sticking and picking with the Vikings in this draft, which we need to do. Because you got to backfill in here. I mean, we're one of the oldest teams in the league the last 2 years, and a lot of these guys, Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave, Ryan Kelly, Harrison Smith, a lot of these guys aren't going to be on the team this year. So, Drew, I agree with you on this 100%. I don't like that. Like I said, I always when they did try to do it before with Childress and Spielman and Brzezinski, I called it the isosceles of ineptitude because it just fucking didn't work, and everybody was in charge and nobody was in charge. So it's just it's the Spider-Man meme where you got everybody pointing at each other. Basically, it doesn't fucking work. We've tried it before; it doesn't work. I want a guy in there controlling the draft and stuff who is a football guy who is experience in scouting and that kind of stuff. All credit to Rob Brzezinski and everything else. He's a great numbers guy. I want that man on this front office team as long as he wants to be there. But I want somebody in there who knows player scouting and player development, and that's what we need. We haven't had that. Spielman was supposedly that guy. He couldn't scout quarterbacks to save his fucking life, but yeah, you were not the only one, Riley. But anyway, since the scouting combine is going on, and I was watching some of the stuff here just before we came on the show, but I put up a list of positions that are kind of positions of need for the Vikings. So we're going to go through some of that and hit some of the top guys on there that could be on the Vikings radar. Didn't go into some of the late round guys just because there's so many of them, but Darth Norsefius is here. Finally gets to the show halfway through the damn thing. Way to go, Norse.
Bum.
God damn, Jesus guy. Anyway.
This is if he wants it. If he wants it, and this is all hypothetical right now,
Right.
speaking. But if he wants that gig, yes, you give him the full-time GM gig.
Yeah. All right. So going off of what I figured as positions of need, and then I went the ranking of these guys. I went to Tankathon and went off of how they have them ranked. I don't necessarily agree with their rankings,
This is just it. I'm stuck on this horse here. If you wanted it, you think you would have had it by now.
He's had plenty of opportunity, but he wanted to stay here. His family loves Minnesota. He likes Minnesota. All of that. But we're going to start off with the safety position. Of course, Harrison Smith likely not coming back.
This is
Uh,
a position of need to me.
it absolutely is.
Absolutely.
Last year, we had Metellus, who was forced to play more of a traditional safety role, and he struggled because of it.
And Theo Jackson, whose flame kind of burned
The,
out. Jay
Theo
Ward, though, like we mentioned last week, came
Jay
in and
Ward
played some
played
good ball.
okay. Theo Jackson, I was extremely disappointed, and I think the team was too. They expected a lot
He
more
was
out of
one of
him.
my guys to watch before the
Yeah,
season started was Theo Jackson, and he was a big disappointment.
yeah. But looking at the top guys so far out of the combine, of course, Caleb Downs is the number one safety on everybody's board. I would honestly be very shocked if he's anywhere close to 18.
Right.
I mean, the safety position is a little devalued, so I could see him maybe falling to 10, 12, somewhere in there. But I don't see him being available in the Vikings pick. These next couple of guys now,
The safety going before pick 15 doesn't happen very often, Rhino.
yeah, but you've got a guy like Downs.
Safeties don't typically go until the end of the first or into the second.
Yeah, but he's one of those guys. He's a Kyle Hamilton type kind of guy. I think that's good. He'll go if he falls
Well,
past
even
12.
Kyle
I'll be
Hamilton
surprised.
didn't go until
Kyle Hamilton was 12.
he was 12th. Okay.
But these next two guys here now, a lot of the drafts or the early mocks and some of the stuff I've seen, they've been available when the Vikings pick in the second round, but their draft stock has really jumped up here during the combine and everything else. First guy is Emmanuel McNeil Warren out of Toledo.
Sean Taylor was a great player coming out, just in a league of his own coming out of college.
Yeah,
anyways,
but again, that was back in the day when safeties were a little bit higher ranked too. But McNeil Warren and then Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon are basically the next two guys. Now,
the kid out of Oregon is fucking.
Some of the mock drafts I've seen lately have both of those guys going in that 15 to 25 range. Now, Dylan Thieneman is my early time draft crush here. I like what I see out of that kid. I see a lot of Harrison Smith in him, to be honest with you. He's really smart. He knows the defense. He can play up in the box. He can cover. He can do all that stuff. He is a guy that I want the Vikings to target.
He's played a lot of football as well.
He has. So. McNeil Warren, another very good safety. Now he's out of a G6 school, a little bit smaller school. Which, when Kwesi was there, drafting somebody out of a G6 school was almost unheard of. But I think that'll change a little bit.
Ooh,
yeah, Thieneman helped himself last night. Yeah, he did. Those numbers he put up last night were
absolutely
definitely probably pushed. I don't think he's going to go 18, but I could see him going late first round. So, that might be a possibility where the Vikings trade back 5 or 6 spots and pick him up in the 20s somewhere. Linebacker at 18. Yeah, we'll get to the backers in a minute, Dan, but a couple other guys, if we miss out on these top 3 that I talked about, you've got AJ Halsey out of LSU, who's he's probably second to third round guy. And then Kamari Ramsey, the other guy out of USC, probably about in that same range. And after that, there's a drop off.
Mm-hmm.
You get to like your Genesis Smiths and some of these other guys that are probably mid-round guys. Second's a little early for Kilgore, I think, Dan. How high do you?
It's got to be up there.
I think it's got to be one of the top priorities, Ruby.
It's got to be a top 3 priority.
It's
really there's no depth there. Oh, there is really no depth there at safety. When you take Harrison Smith out of the equation, who do you got? Metellus,
right? And we saw last year, Metellus needs to be in his hybrid Swiss Army knife role. Playing a traditional safety role, he's not. That's not what he does.
It's got to be high up there, in between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Between those two,
my personal
what do you have for depth at safety right now?
Right. My personal opinion, safety and defensive tackle are the top two needs this team has right now.
Yeah, that's absolutely. I agree.
Okay, we talked about safeties. If you get down later in the later rounds and stuff, there's some guys there too, but they're kind of question marks. Let's roll on to the defensive tackle side of things. We talked about nose tackles and stuff a lot earlier. This is a very good draft for early nose tackles. I mean, there's a couple of other guys too that can play the 5 tech, but first guy would be Peter Woods out of Clemson. Now he's not a nose tackle. He would be more the 5 tech guy. I think he runs
He's
at
a
like
big body
315.
though.
He runs at like 315, but I mean, Clemson used him as an edge rusher a lot of the time this past year. So he would be that replacement for a Hargrave or or Jonathan Allen type guy.
Well, heck, I mean, not saying that this is the case, but even Kevin Williams played a little bit of edge coming out of college as well. So.
Yeah. Now I like Peter Woods. I like what the kid does. He's got a pretty good. Now he struggled a little bit last year, but a lot of Clemson's defense did. So I don't know if that was scheme, because the year before, everybody who struggled this year played really well. So
to be honest with you, I Hitman coming back is 5%, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think
with the way the season ended and with the players of the past coming back for his game, it just really seems like he's hanging him up.
Yeah. Max Brosel for Callahan. I'll do that trade. Who says no? But then we get into a bunch of the more nose tackly guys. First guy, Cade McDonald out of Ohio State. Doesn't have a lot of pass rush, but the guy eats up a lot of space in the freaking middle. So that's one to watch, and he's been mocked in the first round most of the time. Caleb Banks out of Florida, another guy that he's got some injury concerns, so the medicals have got to check out on him. But he's kind of
need
ranked
a guy that can play the run very well.
Yeah,
I mean our run defense.
Well, and Cade McDonald is that guy.
Yeah.
Well, and that's another thing, Drew, that we heard out of the scouting combine, that don't look for the Vikings to do a lot early in free agency. Look at them to be more the bargain spending and see what what falls out after that first wave and stuff. So I think it's going to be about more.
We got to create cap space.
Right. It's going to be more about who they do not bring back than who they do in free agency, I think. But anyway, back to the defensive tackles. Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech is a guy that's really been putting on a show, Senior Bowl and things like that. Daryl Jackson he's another good one. He's more of a mid-round prospect, but the other couple guys early on, Christian Miller out of Georgia, and then the guy that they affectionately call Big Citrus, Dominique Orange out of Iowa. The guy he's another one that is a beast in the man. I think he runs at like 330 pounds. He's a big old boy you put in the middle there to. He's Orange is I've seen him go anywhere from the second to the fourth round. So, that might be somebody we target if we go safety or whatever to begin. Yeah, stupid people build a team in free agency, or people who can't draft try to build a team in free agency. Corleone is another guy, the Godfather. He's probably a day 3 pick, but another good run guy. Then let's look at the next group, boundary cornerback. I mean, we know we've got, of course, Byron Murphy.
We need to be able to bump Murphy down the slot.
Murph needs to go inside, yeah, and that's the
plays
thing.
His best ball, plays all pro ball in the slot, in my opinion.
So that's why I mark boundary cornerback as a need, not just cornerback.
Perfect.
First guy on the board, of course, Mansour Delane out of LSU, probably the first cornerback taken.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Uh, he would be a great fit here. Now, I don't know that Brian Flores' defense, targets cornerbacks early. I think that he thinks they can find guys a
And
little
the
bit
thing is,
later
though, he's
on.
proven that Flores has proven that he can find guys in the later rounds that could come
Right.
in and start.
But he doesn't necessarily want these young guys out there starting either. Tends to like guys that have a little bit more experience at the cornerback. So I don't know that cornerback is going to be an early pick here either, but just some of these guys, that I've seen a lot of mock drafts and stuff too. Another guy, Tennessee's got a couple of them, Jermod McCoy and Colton Hood. I've seen the Vikings mock to them a couple of times. The one I see a lot is Avion Terrell out of Clemson. Now, Pons is the second coming of Winfield. I like Pons a lot. I think
Golden Ponds.
Pons is probably, what do you think, Norris? He's probably a third rounder, maybe. I don't think he's going to get up to first round.
I'm kind of jumping all over the place here with these comments. But,
linebacker, I think it all depends.
Round. If we're going to look at the draft for linebacker, I'm going to go mid rounds. Somewhere between the third and fifth.
Yeah,
round 3 and round 5.
I think a lot of it. Yeah, third rounder for Pons. I think that's fair. But yeah, linebacker. A lot of it depends on what they do with Eric Wilson. If they bring Wilson back, then it's not as much of a need. But if they don't,
I think you could bring Wilson back on a pretty team friendly deal, honestly.
Yeah,
and I don't see why you wouldn't. Like I mentioned last week, he's got a lot of tread left in those tires. He's a great leader, great teammate. Played his best season this past season, in my opinion, since coming into the NFL. So
yeah. I got a couple more names at cornerback, and then we'll talk about linebacker next since Drew brought it up. A couple other guys, Brandon Cisse out of South Carolina, Chris Johnson out of San Diego State. Both of them probably have like a late first, second round grade on them. Guys that could fit the system. But again, I don't think that they're going to take a cornerback early. I think that would, if they take one at all, it's going to be probably a mid-round guy, maybe a little bit older, senior kind of guy that kind of fits into that more experienced realm. But going to the inside linebackers, of course, the top two guys, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, both out of Ohio State. Neither one of those guys are going to be around when the Vikings pick, so we can just forget about them. C.J. Allen out of Georgia. I've seen him kind of bounce all over the place. He's a first-round guy, but depending upon where he goes. Anthony Hill Jr., though, out of Texas, is the guy the Vikings could target. He's kind of a late first to second round kind of guy from everything I've seen so far. The guy I like this guy. I liked him when I watched him at the Senior Bowl, and I've watched a little bit of tape on him. Probably a second, third round guy, maybe falling down to the fourth, but that would be Jacob Rodriguez out of Texas Tech, the mullet man. I just like the way he plays. He's got kind of a Jared Allen attitude to him, but he's a off-ball linebacker. He's not
he's
an
a guy
edge
that's
rusher.
fun to play with, but can also bring it on the field.
Yes, he is, and he plays with a motor. I like Rodriguez flying up the boards. Yeah, Dan. Yeah, I mean we need a long-term answer. I don't disagree with that, but we need a lot of long-term answers. So, if you sign Eric Wilson to a couple-year deal, I could see linebacker being deprioritized a little bit.
Yeah, and then like they said earlier, too.
Ant Kuiper Jr. here says Rodriguez is a borderline first-round pick now in his book, but
I mean, and it's like you
Ant,
said
ant,
earlier
ant,
too.
ant, 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 ant.
Cashman has questionable health concerns when it comes to
Yeah,
being able to
but
play a
but I
full
mean the
16 game
position
season.
the position we'd be drafting for is not Cashman's position. It would be the Eric
Well,
Wilson
in,
/ Ivan Pace position.
in a 3-4 defense, those two interior linebackers are fucking interchangeable in my opinion.
Yeah, Galday gives Luke Kuechly vibes. Yeah, I like Galday too. I'm not quite sure where he's going to fall in the draft, but I mean, yeah, that's another guy to look out for. Um, no, I was doing the Mel Kiper since you're being the draft guru tonight, there, Ant. Todd. Next on the list, I have, I have, this could be interchangeable. I've got center and I've got running back. Let's go with the running backs first, just because Jeremiah Love, if there is any way that he starts falling down towards pick 18, you go get him.
Absolutely.
You knock over tables, little old ladies, children, whatever you have to do to get up to the podium to turn that card in.
Yes.
That
Yep.
being said, I don't think he gets anywhere close to it. But consolation prize if you don't get Jeremiah Love, you do have his running mate, Jadarian Price, who I like a lot. And Jadarian Price would have easily been running back one on a lot of FBS teams. So he's a guy, and I've seen him all over the board too, anywhere as high as the second round and as low as late third. So he's definitely a guy to watch out for. Emmett Johnson out of Nebraska. Now he
I
met
like
with the
Jason Emmett Johnson for
he
sure.
he is a Minnesota native, so he's the quote unquote one of us.
Yep, I love me some Emmett Johnson.
And Emmett, he did say that he met with the Vikings at the combine this week, and he said thought it went really well. He thought that there was a lot of mutual interest there. I like me some Emmett Johnson. I think he would be a good fit in here, a good complement to Jordan Mason. J Viking 74. Good evening. Hey, welcome to the show. Beyond that, you've got Jonah Coleman out of Washington, who's kind of been picking up a little bit of steam lately. Good running back. Again, when you get in the mid rounds, it's a little bit of a fall off from this, and then you've got the two kids out of Penn State too, Nick Singleton and I forgot to write down the other one's name, but both of those guys are in that fourth roundish.
I'd be elated with this if we grabbed both these guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Singleton's pretty good too. I like me some Singleton as well.
Yeah, I know. Norris, was it you that was saying Singleton doesn't have real great vision? I haven't done a ton of work on the running backs yet. I've kind of started a little bit, but don't sleep on Mike Washington. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying good things about Washington too. So Singleton, yeah, North. I thought it was you that didn't like Singleton, Norris, but Toons is usually gets mad if you say huge gap. Yeah, Jay, we talked about that a little bit earlier. I don't think we go cornerback in first round. I really don't. I think safety. I think it'll be
I think
probably
safety's more realistic.
safety or defensive tackle, unless Jeremiah Love falls. I think that's probably what happens. But yeah, then the next group that we next position of need for sure would be center. Now, we do have Blake Brandel, who played fairly well at center especially for never doing it up until this year. So there's a little bit of help there if you draft a guy who's not necessarily ready right away. But you start looking at these guys. Connor Lew out of Auburn, he's probably the top center on the board. I like him quite a bit. Beyond him, you've got Jake Slaughter out of Florida, Sam Hecht out of Kansas State. You got Parker Brailsford out of Bama. And then you've got another Iowa guy. Iowa seems to be able to always turn out good offensive linemen and centers and everything else. But Logan Jones, their mid-round prospect that I think the Vikings probably would have interest in.
I think Linderbaum is available in free agency as well. I know that we're talking about the draft here, but
Yeah,
for free agency, Linderbaum is going to be available as well. And who's somebody who I wouldn't mind
you
taking
know,
a look at.
it's a good question, Drew. I guess I'm looking more towards the draft because I just don't know how much money we're going to have available for the free agency stuff.
That's just it. First, what things first is we need to make cap space available.
Right.
That's what they're going to be telling as to what we're going to do.
Yeah, Pat Coogan, Brian Parker. Yeah, they have the flexibility that I know this team likes. Washington just released Tyler Biadasz this week, so
Well,
there's a
yeah,
center out
and
of.
all these free agents want money, of course.
Yeah, Linderbaum's going to get 20 mil a year, probably 17 to 20 million.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, Connor Lew was hurt last year, so yeah, there is that. But yeah, Jake Slaughter out of Florida, I like him too.
He's got a great last name as well, Slaughter.
Yeah, he's gonna slaughter him. Slaughter him. Yeah. Slaughter. Damn it. But yeah, once we get beyond that, then you kind of roll into more positions of depth in places that this
receiver is one maybe.
Well, that's my first position here, but this team is lacking a lot of depth at a lot of positions. The dude from Iowa, Logan Jones, that was Beavis. Damn it, Beavis. Settle down.
I thought Randall played well at center, and I think that should be his job to lose.
Well, but the thing of it is, and I know a lot of players hate this, and if you ever listen to O-line committee on Score North, they've got Jeremiah Searles and what's his name?
I agree, Drew. I've been saying it through all off season.
He very well might be, and I'm okay with that. But I do think they bring in another center, and if they go get a guy in free agency, then obviously that guy's going to start. But if you draft a guy, then there's a very good chance that Brandel gets a start at it. But
yeah, we've been saying that all off season too since the end of the season. I've been, especially me, I've been pounding the table to re-sign Eric Wilson as well. I mentioned it earlier in the episode, actually, too.
Right. But yeah, looking at wide receiver depth now, most times you wouldn't think that the Vikings would go wide receiver in the first round. Now, there has been. I don't think we're going to be trading for any. I like Jackson Powers Johnson, but I don't know that they're going to be working any trades for that. There's been a lot of discussions of would the Vikings be trading Jordan Addison in the here before the season, which they have to make a decision on his 5th-year option. I think what is it by May, and
unless we trade Addison, he's sticking around. Like I said, we're paying him peanuts this next season. So
I am Con Julio. I need TP for my bunghole.
There you go, Dan. If you could get a second-round pick for Addison, I think you trade him.
Word on the street is we're trading Grenard too.
I've heard that too. Yeah, because Grenard has no more guaranteed money on his deal, and like we talked about last week, Dallas Turner needs. No, I don't. Ty Felton hasn't shown me enough to let me think.
I don't know if I like Ty Felton as wide receiver 4, to be honest with you.
He's we drafted a gunner on the punt team in the 3rd round. Unless he can step up and show me something, no, I am not comfortable running in with him as wide receiver 3.
He might go down as one of the worst round 3 picks in Vikings history, in my opinion.
Well, we haven't. to be
It's
fair,
still early. I understand.
he hasn't gotten a chance at really at anything yet. But why hasn't he gotten a chance?
Right.
But yeah, so as far as wide receivers, Carnell Tate, I mean, I wouldn't put it past the Vikings to draft a wide receiver in the first round, especially if they trade Jordan Addison. Carnell
Well,
Tate,
especially with how much Kevin O'Connell likes to air it out.
right. So you got Carnell
Oh.
Tate out of Ohio State. You got Malachi Lemon out of USC. Those are probably the first round guy. Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State probably is a first round guy also.
As much as Mike Zimmer liked cornerbacks in the first round, I believe KOC feels the same way about wide receivers.
Yep. Bryce Lance did himself a ton of favors at the combine this week. I think he probably moved himself to maybe up to like a fourth round pick. I like Bryce Lance a lot. Guy is good. He's great at high pointing the ball and getting into that, those contested catches kind of thing. I mean, I've watched him play his entire career at NDSU, so I'm bias aside, I think, I was talking to a guy on Twitter here earlier tonight that was talking about Christian Watson with Green Bay and said Bryce Lance is better than Christian Watson and he stays healthy. I think Bryce Lance's ceiling is higher than Christian Watson's. I think Bryce Lance is a better athlete than Christian Watson. So
I don't think we should trade Addison at all. I
disagree with I disagree with you with the caveat of, if somebody's only going to offer you a third round pick or something for him, then you ride it out. But if somebody offers you a second round pick, which there's been rumors that there are teams like Buffalo, San Francisco, and a couple other places that are interested, if you can work out a second round pick and maybe a later round pick thrown in with the mix, I trade him. The kid's got all the talent in the world, but he has not shown that he gets it. And with as good as the wide receiver classes are coming out every year, you can replace somebody who's a fucking moron. And unfortunately, Jordan Addison can't get his head out of his ass.
And to go off of your point there, he honestly did. He played some frustrating football this last season.
He had a lot of drops. I mean, that one falls in my mind where he's falling backwards. The ball comes right into his breadbasket. He hits the ground and he drops the fucking ball.
There's a couple of touchdown passes he dropped too.
Yeah, that was a touchdown. That one was, but yeah, agreed, Dan. If you can get a second rounder for Jordan Addison, you send him on his merry way and tell him that he hopes he figures his fucking life out.
The only reason the only reason I would keep him on, I mean, for a second rounder, that's like almost that's almost a deal so good that you couldn't say no to it,
Yeah.
But
Denzel Boston, yeah, Riley, that was the next guy on my list here.
You're paying Addison next to nil to play this next season.
But you've got to make that decision. Are you going to pay him? Are you going to, if you do that 5th-year option, you're going to pay him like $18 million next year.
Good. That's a great comment, Toonsis. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that you're not wrong. But I mean, we know what Jordan Addison is. Jordan Addison is a really good wide receiver.
Is he related to David Boston? Is that maybe David Boston's kid?
I don't know.
I love me some David Boston back in the day for the Cardinals.
But Denzel Boston, yeah, to Riley's point, he's big. I think he's 6'5", something like that. I mean, he's got some size, and we have not had that big dude,
physical receiver.
And he can get down the field. He's not just a possession receiver either. He's got speed with him too.
We need a DK Metcalf type of build for receiver. A nice physical guy that can go up and get it and get some yak as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, the one guy I really like that, started out as a mid to late round guy, and then he hit the Senior Bowl. He had a really good practice week, and was from but guy had a really good Senior Bowl and has impressed since then is Malachi Fields, the wide receiver out of Notre Dame. I think that guy is going to be good.
He's going to be a hell of a NFL
And
player.
I think that would be a guy that, the Vikings could target in the mid rounds if I think they take a wide receiver because obviously you're not going to be able to keep Speedy
That's a
Naylor
Moss
and
speed right there.
yeah, Mike Washington is fast.
But Moss is like what, 6'4", 6'5" though.
Yeah, Washington.
Moss was like a gazelle. Fucking Randy Moss
but-
was like a gazelle running down the sideline.
Mike Washington's running back though.
Right.
No,
Well,
but,
6'2" running back. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's got that sprinter.
That's some fucking size at running back. Holy shit.
He's got kind of that Michael Bennett sprinter speed to him that we had before, but he's way better running back than Michael Bennett was.
This is about the most random question of the whole show I've seen there, George.
Anybody live in Winnipeg?
Right. This is about the most random question we've had all fucking
I
show.
live 4 hours south of Winnipeg, but yeah. Yeah, I saw that too, and the rumor came. Somebody messaged it into Purple Daily.
I would love that. I would love that.
No.
Tomlin as a GM?
No.
No?
What has Tomlin done to be a GM?
Because he knows football. He's your football guy that you've been asking for.
I don't think he is.
I'd love it.
I'm not as big a Mike Tomlin fan as every other Vikings fan seems
As a coach? No. As a football guy GM? I would seriously consider it.
Yeah, but he had a lot of football control in Pittsburgh, and they just continuously sauntered about at 10-7, 9-8, whatever kind of stuff.
Anybody in here from Winnipeg? What the fuck, George?
Says Fields is slow. Yeah, but I mean, we've got fast guys. You've got Justin Jefferson, who's fast. I mean, you got a more of a possession guy. I'm all for that.
Ricky, toast to you. Skull means toast.
Yeah, it is a deviation off of the Old Norse skull, S-K-A-L, which means to drink from the skull of your vanquished opponent. So
welcome to the show as well.
It is a celebration cheer after a battle victory. So yes.
Even George is laughing at his own question.
Yeah, I mean, I know Tomlin won a Super Bowl, but that was early on, and how much of that was players from
the Chins doing?
Yeah, from
Bill Cowher.
Bill Cowher. Yeah, I said it should be easy to remember the frickin' Steelers coaches. They've only had 3 in my lifetime. So, but yeah, I mean, for the last 15 years or 10 years, whatever it's been, the Steelers were one and done or didn't make the playoffs. I mean, that's. Yeah, I remember the tall, slow motherfucker.
Yeah, fucking Laquan Treadwell.
Yeah. I hear you.
He's still in the league.
Yeah, I forget who he's playing for, but
last time, he was playing for Jack. He had a little good stint there in Jacksonville. I think he was playing for Indy last season.
Yeah. Flores takes over this team next year. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the rumor is that the biggest reason why Kwesi's no longer here is because that was a condition of Flores coming back because he didn't like Kwesi.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Malachi Lemon's interview was wild. Look, I missed that. I have to go back and watch that. But I mean, he's a Southern Cal guy, so.
I love Tomlin at GM. I would not be against that. I'd give that a good.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm not as high on Tomlin as everybody else is. But anyway, other than that, I mean, you got Vikings depth wise should be looking at tackle at some point in time. a guy to be looking would maybe be something like Isaiah World from Oregon, who got hurt late in the year, so that's probably going to hurt his draft stock. You might be able to pick him up in the mid rounds. Hell of a player, but he's going to need some time. I think he had an ACL injury. I think it was. Did some creepy eye thing and head bobbing. Huh?
Where are we at here? I was looking. Honestly, if we start out slow to come into this next coming season, it's going to be sooner than later that Flores takes over at interim.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. You have the Vikings start out 4-8 again, like they did last year. That Flores ain't taking this team over in the midseason.
Right.
But anyway, that's just some of the names that we looked at as far as positions of need from what I guess the way we look at it.
I want a fucking coach with a killer instinct.
I do too. Yep, and that's the problem.
Somebody that doesn't slow down.
KOC is too much Stuart Smalley, too much Mr. Nice Guy, too much Mr. Rogers, whatever the hell it is. Doesn't want to be looked at as the bad guy.
We talked about this a little bit earlier too, as well, Jay. But yes, we'd be in on Rob Brzezinski.
I'm okay. I'd be okay with Brzezinski. I don't think he wants it though. I want somebody with a lot of scouting, with some scouting experience. A former player, maybe somebody that knows personnel. Rob is the cap guy here, and I think he'll be the cap guy here as long as he wants to be.
Right
now, if he's GM and things don't go well, then do you just bounce him back to being the cap guy again and go get a different GM? I mean, it gets a little sticky in there.
That kind of makes the water a little bit muddy once you get.
It does.
You get into that.
So, I mean, he's the good soldier. That's part of the reason why he's doing it.
He's been around. Now. If you didn't hear it before, he's been in the organization since 1999.
Yeah.
So the longest tenured front office man in the business in Vikings land, anyways.
Yeah. Drew, right now, nothing does. I've been a big KOC guy. I was the big, trust the system guy, but we've been trusting the system for 4 years and we haven't won a fucking playoff game yet. So he's got to show me something this year, or else I'm done with him. Yep. All right, so
I'd be all right with that. Smart guy too.
He is.
But now we're just throwing names out. Now
we're throwing names at darts at the wall here right now. But Ant, that might be one of the best things you've ever said. I like that.
That's good. That's good.
I'm going to give you a gold star on that one, Ant. Tomlin's a straight shooter. I know he is, Drew. I just, and it's nothing against Tomlin. I just don't. I think he's probably a really good individual for what the Wills want to do, because I think he's mediocre.
But does he want to go from being a coach to being a GM?
He might.
I think he wants to come back and be a coach.
I don't know that he wants to. I mean, he coached for a long time. He's
already said he wants to take this year off and then go from there.
I go do TV and do whatever. But yeah, no, I don't want Daniel Jeremiah. The Raiders tried that with what's his face, and that failed miserably.
Mike
Mayock.
Yep.
But anyway,
we're running on an hour here, Rhino.
Yeah, let's hit a couple things here on the quarterback stuff we've heard. I've all week you're hearing about all this other. Now today, some fuck nugget, I don't even know what the hell is. Forget what the hell his name was. Comes out and saying the Vikings are trying to move or find a way to get off of JJ McCarthy, when that's exactly fucking opposite of what everything's been saying the entire week.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, you've even got Diana Rossini out there now saying that she's, after talking with the Vikings this week, she's convinced that the Vikings want J.J. McCarthy to be their quarterback, and they're trying to figure out the best way for him to succeed.
Right, and for Rossini to come out and say that is telling.
Yeah.
And the thing is you know what? I'm going to say it right now. McCarthy is our week 1 starter. Given something incredibly unforeseen happening.
Yeah.
JJ
Man,
McCarthy will be our week 1 starter.
you still got the
And he will play exceptionally well next season. Mark it down.
You've got the Kyler Murray shit still floating out there, and I ranted on him last week. If he's not a fit for Mike LaFleur in Arizona running the McVay offense, he's not going to be a fit for Minnesota running the McVay offense here. And beyond that, he was absolutely terrible throwing the deep ball the last couple of years. Which that doesn't fit the Kevin O'Connell system. And the thing that gets me, and I'll point to this until I'm blue in the face, I'll die on this fucking hill. When you have to put a stipulation in a guy's contract about film study, I don't want that fucker on my team. But now I have also heard that the Vikings aren't as in on Kyler Murray as a lot of the fan base is, so that's probably a good thing.
Were.
I don't think they were either. No, for a lot of the reasons what I just said.
Kyler Murray's more into the Vikings than the Vikings are into Kyler Murray, is what my guess is.
Yep. Now, Alec Lewis from The Athletic mentions that Kirk Cousins and Geno Smith as probably the two most likely candidates for coming in here to be the veteran, but he doesn't rule out Aaron Rodgers either. I think if Rodgers comes back, I think it's in Pittsburgh for one final year, back with McCarthy. Here's the thing, and this goes for Kirk Cousins too, with both Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins. I don't know that either one of them are going to be satisfied to stick around as the backup if JJ McCarthy were to come in and beat him out in training camp. I could very easily see one or either one of those guys
hanging him up.
Yep. If they lose a job, it's like, no, I'm done. And then you leave the Vikings hanging, looking for another fucking Sam Howell for the backup.
If that's the case, Kirk is going to go on to broadcasting
media, and I think Rodgers will go off on his ayahuasca darkness retreat or whatever. And
I think we're casting a wide net for backup quarterback is what we're doing.
Yeah, and Brzezinski said as much. Was Wentz's comeback confirmed? It's not confirmed, Riley, but I have heard a lot of steam about that the Vikings want to bring Wentz back this year, whether it's his QB2, QB3, whatever it is. But
we need a viable backup quarterback. That's been a problem for the last couple of years. So.
Yeah. Hell no to Cousin Rodgers or Geno. I'm okay with Geno Smith.
No, I've never been a Geno guy. There's something about Geno.
As a backup. I don't want him as a starter, but having him come in here as the backup that could play a couple, if McCarthy's a starter and he gets hurt or something like that, to play a couple of games, I'd be okay with that. So the thing of it is, there's not a lot of options out there for good backup quarterbacks this year.
I fucking want Winston, but we'd have to give up.
You have to trade for him. I know that.
I love me some Jameis Winston. I know I've been saying it, but I would love to.
No, I know. And I like Winston too, and plus he's a hell of a personality. But
right,
a couple other trade candidates I've heard: Spencer Rattler coming out of.
No,
I don't want him either,
and I don't like his personality either.
No, I don't either. I don't either. Derek Carr coming out of retirement.
That's a no for me.
You'd have to trade for him because the Saints still own his rights. Yeah, that's my thought, Drew. I don't want him as a starter, but having him come in as a backup, and if he needs to come play a game or two here and there, he can win you some games. I mean, 2 of the 3 years as a starter for Seattle, he threw for over 4,000 yards. So, and I'm willing to give him a mulligan from last year because everybody sucks when they play for the Raiders. So,
Minshew would be all right.
Minshew's I love me some Gardner Minshew, but he's a personality. I don't know. I mean, he's not that old. He's maybe 30 right now, but
no, not even close. 27 or 28.
27, 28. Yeah, he's under 30. Yeah. But yeah, then of course there's one other one that's gained a lot of steam this week is that the Vikings and Anthony Richardson having mutual interest.
I don't know if I put too much weight into that. I think that's more just whispers than anything.
Kevin O'Connell wanted Anthony Richardson. I mean, I've heard from multiple sources that, and legitimate sources that have said that the Vikings tried to their damnedest. Apparently,
Right.
they offered 3 firsts and 2 seconds to try to move up to get him in the draft.
Right. But
But
we
Indy
talked
did.
about this last week. It just does not make any sense to me that Kevin O'Connell has not proven to me that that's the
No,
type of quarterback that he
and
wants.
if you go get Anthony Richardson, you still need to get a veteran backup in there because Anthony Richardson is not. He's a bigger reclamation project at this point than JJ McCarthy
Yeah, right.
is.
Then you got 2 quarterbacks who have yet to show anything
Right,
at the next
and
level.
2 quarterbacks who have yet to show that they can stay healthy and stay on the field.
Right.
So you'd still have to bring in a third guy, whether it's a Carson Wentz or whoever, the veteran in the room that can come in when the other 2 guys are fucking hurt. So I don't know. It's a KOC will get fired if we get Richardson. I mean, if that's what happens,
If Lucky can stay healthy, I mean, that will play into it as well. So
yeah. But anyway, I mean that's kind of where we're at. Why would you be satisfied with JJ starting? Because we don't know where the ceiling is with JJ McCarthy. We know where the ceiling is with pretty much all of these other guys, and it's not going to get us anywhere. I'm absolutely out on trading for Mac Jones because you're going to have to give up like a 2nd round pick for the guy. And Mac Jones does not move the needle. Mac Jones gets us to the wild card round where we lose.
I don't know. I don't understand how people can't have patience when it comes to developing a quarterback.
And that's the thing. McCarthy has played 10 games.
Which he is 6-4.
Right. You give McCarthy 2026, and if he doesn't look any bet, if he hasn't shown anything or if he can't stay healthy by the end of this year, then
that is my biggest concern, Jay, is his injury concern. But if he can prove that he can stay healthy,
but
the last 5 games of the season he played pretty damn good.
Right. But the thing of it is with McCarthy is the injury stuff is a lot of it is self-inflicted. If you teach him to not go looking for he's got that hockey player mentality. He's going out looking for hits and stuff like that. You got to if you can get it in his mind that he's got to slide or he's got to get out of bounds and stuff like that, you're going to, and the thumb thing on the helmet, that's a fluke thing. It happens a lot.
And a sprained ankle, we all sprain our ankles.
But there again, a lot of that stuff, is things that can be learned out of it and to take better care of yourself on the field.
Whichever way it is, Rhino. If KOC likes pocket quarterbacks, why is there Anthony Richardson talk?
Right. Anthony Richardson is the furthest thing from a freaking pocket quarterback.
That's what I don't understand.
Anthony Richardson is basically Derrick Henry that can throw the ball 60 yards down the field.
Right. So
yeah, and Davey, that I can agree. I can go on with this. If McCarthy can't stay healthy this year, then 2027 is going to be a stacked quarterback class. That's what you do. You give McCarthy. You don't anoint him the starter. You go get somebody that's going to, push him to make him better, to make him earn it. But you give him 2026 to prove himself, and if he can't, then you move on. Norris, I truly believe this. I do, and
I do too.
I've said this a couple of times. We're in some groups and stuff where we, and I see it on Twitter all the time where it's McCarthy derangement syndrome. Basically, is what it's become. It's just, that's when they're talking about quarterbacks, it's anybody but McCarthy. Kyler Murray, yes, let's get him because he's not JJ McCarthy. Aaron Rodgers, let's go get him because he's not JJ McCarthy. They're going to go dig Sonny Jorgensen out of the grave and put him out there because he's not JJ McCarthy.
And it would be so Viking-like for us to give up on McCarthy
And he
let
goes
him go
someplace
somewhere
else
else
and wins a Super
and just
Bowl.
fucking light it up.
Yeah, which is what I believe would happen, especially if he got in the right system someplace. If he went,
Right.
it wouldn't
And
surprise me.
utilized the right way.
It wouldn't surprise me at all to see him go to someplace like the Rams and take over for Stafford in a year and go win a fucking Super Bowl.
Right.
And how would that look when the student gives up on him and the mentor takes him and makes him a winner?
All right.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna. I don't want to get too far down the foxhole on the McCarthy hate again tonight, but we've been going on here for an hour and 15, so I think we're going to call her good for tonight. Want to thank you guys all for joining. Still got 20 people watching after an hour and 20 minutes, so that's want to thank you guys for sticking around with us. Great conversation as always, and a lot of hot button topics. A lot of yeah, this is exactly right, Riley.
We're both picking on the same. Yep.
The national media has been trying to run Justin Jefferson out of town here for the last 3 years. So, he's been a great leader on this team, a great captain, and he's going to continue to be that.
He has been the epitome of a great team guy
Right.
at a high level, at the highest level in the NFL, not bitching.
Right.
And sticking with his guns with the team that drafted him.
Yep. Davey, this is why you have to bring in a viable backup. You can't go into the season with a Sam Howell
Great
or
point,
whatever
Rhino.
as a backup.
Great point, Rhino.
But anyway, with that, again, want to thank you guys all for joining us. We will be back again next week for all the wrap up out of the combine. And of course, looking forward to the start of the new league year, which is in about a week and a half-ish, somewhere around there.
Yep.
So there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of Vikings news coming out this next week with releases, maybe some trade agreed in principles. They can't, of course, trade until the start of the league year, but there'll be a lot of news coming out. So make sure you stay tuned to us next weekend, and we will break all of that down. What days a show on each week? Jay, it's either Friday nights or Saturday night.
Follow our Facebook page. You'll find all the information you need to there.
Yep.
Vikings Uncensored on Facebook.
Yep. It varies because of Lance's schedule, but it's either Friday nights or Saturday nights at 9 or 9:30. So, yeah, make sure if you haven't done so, hit the like, hit the follow, hit the subscribes. Helps us out a ton. But again, thank you guys for joining us. And Brunswick, why don't you take us home?
Love all you guys. Great having you here. I've seen some new names tonight, Jay being one of them. I've seen another guy earlier in the episode, another new name. So it's nice seeing these new names as well come and joining us on this show. I love you guys. We'll see y'all next week with I'm assuming plenty of Vikings news with the free agency and salary cap situation. So, yeah, we'll see you next weekend. Aubrey and Millie, if you're out there watching, Dad loves and misses you. Skull.
Have a good week, everybody.